In a feudal economy, things were straightforward. The lord of the manor was like that bossy friend who always tells everyone what to do. Grow more wheat, less barley, and oh, while you're at it, drain that swamp. Then we had the Soviet Union, which was like the feudal lord, but with a lot more paperwork. They had grand plans like building massive dams and growing fields of wheat, all decided by people sitting in a far-off office. Now let's switch gears to market economies where things get wild. There's no big boss telling people what to do. Instead, we have this magical thing called prices. It's like a giant game of hot and cold where prices guide everyone to where they should be putting their effort. Picture this. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher explaining to Mikhail Gorbachev, the last president of the Soviet Union, that she doesn't ensure people get food. Prices do that job. It's like having an invisible hand or a really smart GPS guiding everyone. In China, for instance, they've started letting prices do their thing, and suddenly, there's a food party going on. We're talking American fast food chains raking in the dough, and Chinese folks doubling their dairy intake. Prices are like the cool DJ at a party, setting the vibe and making sure everyone gets what they want. Now imagine if we didn't have prices doing their thing. It would be like trying to organize a mega concert without tickets or a seating plan. Pure chaos. You'd need an army of bureaucrats just to figure out how to get bread and milk to everyone. Here's the fun part. Every time someone figures out how to make better shoes in Fiji or Japan starts selling snazzy cameras, we all find out about it not through some big announcement, but through the price tags. Prices are like the gossip queens of the market, spreading the word about who's got the best stuff and who's selling it cheap. But here's a twist. Prices are not just about spending money. They're like secret messages telling producers what to make more of and what to ditch. If a car with fancy features isn't selling, the price drops, sending a signal to the maker. Hey buddy, maybe try something different. Now let's bust a myth. A market economy isn't just about making profits. It's also about handling losses. Think of it as a reality TV show where businesses that don't get enough love, i.e. money, get voted off the island. This helps make sure that resources aren't wasted on stuff nobody wants. Prices have been the OG social network long before the internet came along. They connect you to a global marketplace, ensuring you get your Italian shoes, Canadian pants, and a Japanese car, all while sitting comfortably in your home. But wait, there's a plot twist. What happens when prices aren't allowed to do their thing? Well, let's take a trip back to the Soviet Union. They tried to control prices, and boy did it backfire. They ended up with warehouses full of stuff nobody wanted, like a bad episode of Hoarders. In the end, it's not about the mistakes of individual planners. The real tea is that trying to micromanage an economy is like trying to herd cats, a task too complex for mere mortals. Soviet economists Shmelev and Popov summed it up nicely. It's just not within our power to plan everything perfectly. So there you have it. A whirlwind tour of how economies use prices to deal with the never-ending saga of scarce resources. It's like a giant worldwide game of matchmaker, with prices making sure everyone finds their perfect economic match. Let's break down the thrilling world of prices and costs in a market economy. And trust me, it's more exciting than your favorite soap opera. Prices aren't just random numbers that sellers pluck from thin air while sipping their morning coffee. They're like the ultimate reality check in the marketplace. Imagine you've got this amazing widget that's worth $100 to someone. You decide to be a bit of a hero and offer it for $80. But then along comes another seller who offers the same widget for $70. Boom! Your customer is out the door faster than you can say sale. It's not just about what you want to charge. It's about what the customer is willing to pay and what your competitors are doing. So those who blame high prices on just greed are missing the big picture. It's like blaming the weather for ruining your picnic when you forgot to check the forecast. Now let's dive into the wild world of resource allocation by prices. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle where everything has to fit just right. Take milk, for instance. It's not just for your morning cereal, it's also for cheese, ice cream, yogurt, and more. When people suddenly crave more cheese, because who doesn't love cheese, cheesemakers start buying more milk. This drives up the price of milk. And suddenly ice cream and yogurt makers are like, whoa, we need to up our prices too. It's a ripple effect, just like when someone does a cannonball into a pool. What about the big picture? Well, when the price of wood pulp goes up because everyone wants paper, it means the price of baseball bats and furniture, also made of wood, starts climbing too. It's a domino effect that spans across the entire economy. But wait, there's more. This whole pricing saga is not just about transferring money, it's about sending signals. It's like a secret code that tells producers what to make and what to ditch. If something isn't selling, it's time to cut the losses and stop making it. This is where the beauty of a profit and loss system shines. Losses are just as important as profits because they stop the waste of resources. In a free market economy, prices are like the unsung heroes, coordinating millions of decisions without anyone needing to play puppet master. It's a system so complex that even the brainiest central planners can't match it. Now let's take a detour to the Soviet Union. They tried to micromanage their economy without prices doing their thing, and it was like trying to bake a cake without a recipe. A total mess. There were warehouses filled with stuff nobody wanted, while people queued up for miles for the things they actually needed. But here's the kicker. Even Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, the godfathers of socialism, knew the importance of prices. They foresaw the chaos of an economy without price signals. Without prices, there's no way to know if we're making too much of one thing and not enough of another. It's like throwing a party and only having ketchup when what people really want are burgers and fries. Towards the end of the Soviet era, some economists there started to realize just how crucial prices were. Everything in the economy is linked like a chain, and even the smallest price change can send ripples throughout the entire system. But unfortunately, it was the political bigwigs, not the economists, who were calling the shots. And let's just say they weren't big fans of letting prices do their magic. So there you have it, a roller coaster ride through the world of prices and costs in a market economy. It's a system that might seem chaotic, but actually works like a well-oiled machine, thanks to the power of prices. Welcome to the wild and wonderful world of supply and demand, economic style. This is the basic bread and butter of economics, and it's all about understanding why we buy more ice cream when it's on sale and less when the price skyrockets. It's also about why companies churn out more widgets when they can sell them for top dollar and slow down when prices plunge. Sounds simple, right? But oh boy, does it shake up a whole lot of things. First up, let's tackle the myth of need. When folks start talking about a country's need for certain products or services, it's like they're forgetting that needs are as changeable as the weather. Take the Israeli kibbutz, for example. They tried giving away electricity and food for free, and guess what? People left lights on all day and invited friends over for free feasts. But as soon as they put a price tag on these, boom, consumption dropped. It turns out need is a slippery fish. Now let's talk about supply. It's not just about how much stuff is in the ground. For instance, the amount of oil that's economically viable to pump out changes with the price of oil. When prices are high, suddenly those hard-to-get oil sources in Venezuela and Canada look mighty attractive. So the supply of oil isn't just a fixed number, it's like a dance, constantly changing with the rhythm of the market. And it's not just natural resources that respond to price changes. Everything from lobsters to labor follows the same beat. Predictions about shortages of engineers, teachers, or food often forget that higher prices can encourage more supply. It's like a party where the more people show up, the more pizza gets ordered. But what about the real value of things? Here's where it gets spicy. The value of something isn't set in stone. It's all about what people are willing to pay for it. If someone's product hits the sweet spot of what consumers want, they can strike it rich even if they're just lucky. And this isn't just about fairness. It's about efficiently using our limited resources to make stuff people actually want. Now let's dive into the ocean of competition. It's the force that keeps prices in check. Think of it like water seeking its own level, but with waves and tides. Prices and the returns on investments smooth out over time, moving resources from where they're less needed to where they're more in demand. But don't expect a calm sea. The economic ocean is always in motion. Prices do more than just ration what we've got. They're like a megaphone shouting out to the world where more stuff is needed. When there's a sudden demand for food in a region, suppliers rush to get there first, motivated by those high prices. It might seem a bit cold, but this greedy rush can actually get food to people faster than a well-meaning but slower government effort. Sometimes, though, the market decides we need less of something. As cars replaced horses, the demand for saddles and horseshoes dropped, and producers had to adapt or shut down. It's tough for those affected, but this is how the economy stays efficient and serves the broader population. Lastly, let's bust a big myth: unmet needs. Politicians love talking about meeting these through government programs. But remember, resources are scarce and have alternative uses. Meeting one need often means sacrificing something else. So while we can certainly shift resources around to meet different needs, there's no magic solution that satisfies every need without trade-offs. In summary, supply and demand are the dynamic duo of economics. They're all about understanding how prices guide our decisions, from turning off a light to pumping oil. It's a never-ending dance of needs, wants, and resources, with prices leading the way. Welcome to the party.